Same people, just a friendly room tonight, just a general chit chat, Scotland, what's going on, and other things in paper and whatever you want to bring out. I've got Kendo, Ken Bob, Stephen Old, that's a first timer with us, and Taz, who's been with us before. Good to have a woman with us for once. Cheers, everybody, and good evening. How are y'all?
Hi James, hi all, hi guys. I'm a 16th Scottish, so am I allowed to join in? That's what my grandmother told me anyway.
Unfortunately named after the king of a king of the I think he was a Pictish king, King Kenneth. So my name's Kenneth. So that's my little credential.
So.
All right, Stevie, how's you, mate?
I'm glad you, mate.
Thanks. God,
my name's Stevie Auld. My name's originated from Ayrshire in Scotland.
And I've got Kendo. How are you, mate?
Me, I'm sound, thank you. Dean, yeah. Still recovering from the late one last night, but never mind.
And Ken Bob, how's you, my friend? He's over in America.
Yeah, I'm in Oregon, the edge of the sword. Ken is my first name. Bob is an acronym. It means bitter old bastard.
I think main subject really been tonight was at the beginning, and we've lost half of us. It was just a private hangout at first, but I decided to take it live, and hopefully they'll bed over this way. It was on the Scottish independence. But we got off that and we got on to something else, so I like whatever subject you want to bring up.
We've lost Tony Meehan. Oh, we've got Jamesy back.
Yeah, I know. That was confusing.
Yeah, we've lost Tony Meehan and we've lost John S and we've lost Tony B for some reason. But let's hope you're here with us in spirit, peeps.
I had all sorts of windows opened and it was like I could hear all sorts of voices. It was like, what's going on?
You just reminded me, I think I've still got my YouTube live actually. That'll be coming on live in a minute. And we'll have a bit of feedback.
Yeah.
Johnny, you from Glasgow, I know?
It's live now.
I'm not getting feed. I don't know what's going on here. Is that sorted?
Yeah, we're all live on YouTube now. Chatterbox is open. So yeah, here with us in spirit, peeps.
I had all.
I put it in Google Plus as well. I put the link above that if you're struggling. But, yeah, all links are right there now. One on the video and one in the Google Plus page.
So I've got a question. If Scotland succeeds in their vote for independence, who's going to be next, Wales or Ireland?
Oh, I would think Wales.
Yeah, Wales.
I would think that too.
Wales has always been that little quiet pocket sat there, but they've always been like fighting in the background, if you know what I mean. You never hear much about news, but
no,
they've always wanted their independence, haven't they?
Yep.
And I think that's what government can see falling apart on them as well. If that happens,
yep,
they'll go for it. You know what I mean? I hope Scotland does get it, really. I really do.
Do you know what I didn't know? Quebec went for independence twice, and they knocked it back twice.
Aye, just recently, aye.
I didn't know that.
Just recently, I think it was just last week. I think it's tried it again.
Was it as recent as that they tried it again? I knew
Aye.
it once.
I didn't know it was last week, man. I just seen a wee post with it, and there was an actual a video somebody had posted with a guy speaking on YouTube, and he says he's obviously saying now for Scotland to go for it.
It might have been a later post. I just thought it was last week, a couple of weeks ago, but it might have been later, a few years ago or something. Just took it.
A few months ago, you were on about fingerprinting at school, weren't you? As?
Yes, so I was trying to unmute my microphone. Yes, yeah, they fingerprinted all of my son's school. Only I didn't get to hear about it until about 6 months later. He didn't inform us at all.
Well, guess what? It's up here. It's up here as well.
Yeah. Did you get any kind of letter or anything?
No, a friend I've just seen. I've not seen him for a while. He's been busy, so he come up last night and he was saying, when come home, said he's not had no dinner.
Yeah, they sell it. That's the way they sell it. You can't get any dinner, and also you can't get access to the libraries or any of their other, special units and things like that. So it's really, it's either hand over your ID or nothing,
Yeah. Well, he said like he's had no dinner, and when friends turned around, he said, "What do you mean you've had no dinner?" He said, "Well, I can't work the machine." I said, "What's on about machine?" He said, "Yeah, you have to put your thumb on it." And he said, "What are you on about? I don't know anything about this." So he's gone into school and he's asked similar questions to you. Where does it go and all that? And they're saying, "Oh, it stays within the school, and we can get to control the dinners and things like that."
But does it still get to stay in the school once they leave the school? I don't personally believe that they'll say, "Oh, we'll destroy all these records." I reckon that's just a crock.
I'll give you a little what's it, yeah? Just a little worm on an hook to think about. That's another generation coming up, yeah, all them that's had that done, yeah?
Yes.
It just becomes normalised.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen to this, right? Do you not think, right, they're getting the fingerprints of every child, right, in the country? That's
yeah.
the next stage of RIFD chips.
Correct.
They can turn around and say, "Look, we've not had this person here. Come on, shut one out, get them." You know what I mean? You've got to, and then it's there then. They can switch you on, switch you off. No credit, you know?
Yeah. I just think it's a slippery slope for all of the kids. But I mean, they're doing it with all the mobile phones, aren't they? The Apple has got the where you fingerprint to kind of log in and make your phone work. So excuse me, that's my dog. They're gradually getting everybody's ID, any kind of biometric at all. They're bringing it in, and even I'm noticing the word itself, biometric, is now appearing on more and more adverts, posters. A little while ago we'd never even heard of the word biometric. I heard of it years and years ago because my son's father worked for a company where they was actually doing, and Madonna had one, fingerprint door entry systems to get into her flat, and that was 17 years ago. So my son's 17 now, and that was the first time I'd heard about it. But since then, nothing really. So.
Well, how advanced is it now? About 17 years ago.
Oh yeah, I mean it's all in the passports now. You've now got the retina scans and all things like that. We've got chips in our passports, but mine went through the microwave, so I doubt if it's of any use to anyone. But I can still use it by just normally, you know, the passport people normally just look at it. They don't normally look at the chip or anything. So
that's what the criminals are using to do the bank machines. How they put a cover over the bank machines, how you type your numbers in, and what it does, it takes your fingerprints.
Is that what they're doing?
Aye, that's what they do. You just, it's like a wee cover, and it's got a wee electrical thing on it, and it records your fingerprint. And the criminals put it on, say, let's say the cash machines. I don't know if you've maybe seen any adverts about it. The warnings on the bank machines.
No, I've seen
I've
the
used
ones where they have the wee cameras above the cash machine when you type your number in, they get it.
Aye, they've got the camera there, but it's like a cover, and they put it on where the dial pad is, the keypad thing is, and it fits right onto that. And you see, when you type your number in, it hangs your number, so in the days they lift it off, and they see where you've typed your number. Now, because your fingerprints left the hang me on the number.
Right. No, I've never seen that.
no, me neither.
Can I ask you another question? Does everybody over there have a passport, or is it?
No, I don't have a passport.
I don't have one.
I've not.
You have to pay for it.
I've never been on a plane.
I either.
Oh, but
Actually, I wasn't a plane, it was a fighter jet, it was landed in Ayrshire.
I let my passport run out after 10 years, and there was too many Moscow stamps on it, so I thought, no, I ain't using that no more.
He's a KGB agent.
Yeah, I wish.
that's what
Over here, it's not usual for people to have a passport, but all of our driver's licenses are going to the biometric face scanning technology right in the driver's license photo.
Yeah,
And you
we've
can't
got that.
renew
Yeah.
your license without bringing in a pallet load of paperwork to prove who you are, even though I've been a driver, quote unquote, since 1978 is when I got my permit to drive. And now, in order to renew my driver's license, I have to prove who I am as if I never existed to this point. As if none of that 37 years of being a driver matters whatsoever. I have to submit myself, bring in knee pads and a bib and all my papers and prove who I am, even though I've been a driver for 37 years. It's as if I start from scratch, from ground zero.
Yep.
And I'm not doing it.
That's
not
because
gonna-
there's
I'm
a
not gonna
corporation,
just
another
go
company taking it.
I'm just not going to be somebody's blowjob anymore.
Quite right, mate. Quite right.
I mean, it's absolutely insane what they expect us to go through to renew a simple license to drive. I mean, it's just bullshit. It's just absolute bullshit. And I call up the Department of Motor Vehicles, and they're just bean counters and bookkeepers. They don't give a shit.
No.
You're just a bean. You're just a bean, and they're a bean counter.
You're just a number at the end of the day.
You're less than a number.
Right.
That's it, isn't it? Evening, Ferdy Poo.
Evening all.
Evening, Paul.
How are we all?
That's about it.
All right,
Right.
mate.
Aye. Ticking over.
Nice to join us, mate.
Yeah, I've been listening for the last 10 minutes. I jumped in with Anthony, me and James a short while ago, but they both ran away from me. So I've followed you
I
there.
was hoping they'd come into this, on into the live bit.
Tony was just on his way here. I don't know where he's gone. He's got lost along the way. He's probably gone to...
I just intended to have just a a normal hangout, but it just filled up in blink of an eye, and I just thought I may as well just take it live if you wanted to. So I think we've just lost in transition somewhere.
I jumped to the other one you were in for the poo, but because it was going, I was getting two different.
Oh no, I'm only
Two
kidding.
different things.
I know.
I was
I
getting
was
two
getting
different videos at the same time.
I don't like, and I don't want Anthony Meehan in stereo. It's not good. Mono's enough for me with Tony. You don't want to hear it. I'm only kidding, so you know I love him.
I had to do that too.
I used a sat nav for the first time today. I've never used a sat nav before, and I fucking hate them. On the way back from Kinver, from a friend's house, it took me along country lanes that were pitch black, and I couldn't see shit, and I didn't know where I was going. Instead of the main roads, and once I was into that journey, I couldn't turn around. I'm never going to use it again. I'm better off with a map, and I know where I'm going.
Same as me. I hate the things, me. I'd rather jump up and down on Ordnance map any day week for me.
AA road map, £5 petrol station, or Google Maps. Write your route out before you.
Yeah, that's what I did. I had it on a bit of paper, but I had the I thought I'll have the sat nav on as well, and I'll use it, see what it's like. And it was constantly wanting me to go left, away from the route that I've got on the paper. And the amount of times I turned left, and I had to turn back around again, and come back. They're pointless. They're pointless. Technology.
I think they're alright for main roads, but not for like country roads and stuff like that. They don't even update, like, say there's a new estate built. They've not got a clue. They just take you right off your route.
If you're not up to date on the software, yeah, you're buggered.
I'm on the go to Wales in Wagon, and we were driving outside of this big bay, and according to SatNav, we were actually driving up the middle of the bay, out to sea. I think it thought we were a ship, not a wagon. Yeah, that's right.
Take a right turn here, right into the river.
Yeah. Well, you've had people do that with them, haven't you?
I have. I've seen a few of them.
Yeah,
Who's the chap with the dogs there in his picture?
Steve.
Steve, are they staffies, Steve?
No, mate, they're Patterdales.
They're Patterdales.
Yeah.
I've never heard of them before. Right, yeah, they're too small for staffies, aren't they? They're good-looking dogs.
Yeah. They're hunting dogs.
You got a good Celtic head on you there, Steve.
Tell me, Steve, if
I'm a Glasgow man, mate.
if your avatar photograph was, if we were to zoom out of that photograph, have you got a kilt on as well as the t-shirt?
Bud.
Yeah.
That's for the shortbread boxes.
It does look like something off a biscuit tin or something, doesn't it?
Actually, I was hoping today to see on the news when Miliband and Cameron and that lot shot over there. I was hoping that there'd be a fucking great big line of kilts bending over, ready to lift the back up and show their arse to them, mate. I said, come on, push it. That would have been brilliant, doing that William Wallace jobby on him.
Aye.
That would have
Patting
been a
their
sight to
buttocks
see.
as well. Yeah, just to really go with them.
Hey, come on, you fuckers! You know, brilliant, man. But it never
I
happened.
heard that one of them get chased out of Rutherglen. Honestly, I heard that fucking one of them get chased out of Rutherglen. Something happened in Rutherglen with one of them, but I don't know if they maybe hid it for the media or what.
They don't really go to places like that. They go to the city towns and stuff like that. They don't go into the actual. They won't come to.
They were, mate. They were.
Chapel.
One was in Rutherglen today.
Really, aye.
Aye. I
It,
don't know if
it
it was
just
that Major, that John Major. I'm not sure if it was him, but it was definitely one of them.
it just shows you what kind of world they're in, though, and because they're in their own world of their own importance and their own shit, and they think that they're the influence. I mean, they are the influence in the country, but
Yeah.
there's this one up there thinking that they're going to do some good, and anybody who's like been following the situation, it's not too stupid, and it's not too. You know, they've just made complete, utter fools of themselves, and they can't see it. They're dead serious, and you know all the shit that come out of the mouth. You know, we're not. What did Cameron say? We're not just Tory effers. Yeah, you are.
Aye, I don't know.
What, you lying
I was
kid?
like, did he just say that?
Yeah.
You know, I was in Glasgow. I was in Glasgow City Centre, and David Cameron was there a few weeks ago. In fact, I think it was about a month ago, and something to do with the World War II veterans or something. And he was doing a speech in Glasgow City Centre, and they had snipers on the roofs. So, I think that was the day you came down, Dean, was it no?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
There were a couple of days before or something, but I was saying to you about
Yeah. I'm alright, yeah. Sorry, I was on another page and I've got Anthony asking for a link.
What, and the snipers missed him? Bastards.
it. I know. I was just about to say that, so I bet it was the IR or something. Okay. It's fucking mental, man.
When's the referendum? It's the 18th.
Tomorrow's the 11th, by the way, of September. False flag ending.
What, tomorrow?
Aye.
Yeah. I think there's some.
Oh, no, it's my birthday.
I reckon it might happen in this country though. I just have a feeling it might something happen here.
You reckon, mate?
Well, something needs to happen, doesn't it? You know, after last night's conversation, we're all getting stitched up on November the 1st anyway. Totally stitched up, including the Scottish, because they won't care. I mean, if you end up as a region of Europe, Scotland, you're going to come under that corpus juris, Roman law, Napoleonic law, whatever you want to call it. You're still under corpus juris.
Under their yoke.
Napoleonic law. It's guilty by. How is it? Guilty. What is it? You're guilty before being proved innocent.
Yeah.
I'm just
Basically,
just looking at my phone, listening to this. Mobile phone users in an independent Scotland could incur roaming fees when travelling to the rest of the UK.
Well, if there was ever a reason to vote no, it's roaming fees. Right?
Roaming fees.
What the fuck, man?
Well, you know, I'd like to get stopped at the side of the road by some official going, I'm going to have to charge you 15 quid for roaming fees. Prove I'm fucking roaming. I'm not roaming. Fucking roaming fees.
So I'm not roaming.
Have we not been paying roaming fees for fucking centuries?
You know, is this a gypsy caravan or a fucking car I've got here? You know, like roaming fees. You're not gypsies, are you?
Fuck, see.
Fucking
Crazy, isn't it, man?
What is going? What was bought 30 poos? Have you had the choice?
What's that tune, Steve? Roaming in the gloaming, and it only costs you 50.
Oh, I don't go singing that, I'm a Rangers man.
Fucking hell, man. No more roaming in a gloaming if it's going to cost you. Fucking hell. And I mean, if we start charging you for coming wandering around our our country, you're going to have to start charging us for us wandering around your country as well, aren't you?
Oh, it's,
Hey
You know.
Dean, you'll have to if they vote yes, the likes of Steve and James or that, we'll have to start charging them to join the English Google Hangouts, won't we? Living in England, £1.50 or whatever. €2 it'll be to them, won't it? Not £1.50.
oh no, don't say euros.
No, they'll get the choice, though, won't they? Well,
We'll have euros or pounds.
say again.
I say we can have the pound or the euro.
You'll have
Yeah.
both, won't you? If
You can have both.
I think just have your own.
Exactly.
I really do, in your own banking system, mate. Just do exactly
Yep.
what Iceland have done.
You can't have the Bradbury pound though. That's if anybody's having if you separate from England, it's England's having the Bradbury pound. If you bring that in, so you.
Yep. We'll have to have our own Scottish
That'll let
pound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scottish pound note that looks like a fiver.
But it's worth a tenner. I hope.
But that's what should happen. I mean, if during that consultation phase, I mean, if that opportunity, I'd be shouting Iceland. Why don't we do an Iceland? And I don't mean you're shopping at Iceland.
Prawn
You know.
ring. Kendo's lost it. He's got his Iceland obsession has come back.
Yeah.
He's banned from farm foods.
But
They never
No,
proved
but-
that anyway, did they, Ken? You know.
yeah, but what? No, they didn't. No, the evidence was less. But anyway, what was wrong with the Icelandic model? And if you think about the size of Scotland compared to the size of Iceland, they're not that much different. Why can't it work for Scotland if it works for Iceland?
They gave the citizens of Iceland a rebate as well. Everybody got a rebate earlier on this year.
Yep.
Everybody got their mortgages paid off.
About Iceland anymore. Iceland is been wiped off the world map.
Except it's crinkle cut chips at 89p a bag, apparently.
Aye.
Well, they're saying the no campaign's 6 points in lead. But I don't know where the fuck they're getting these figures for, honest to God. It's mind
know.
blowing.
Nobody's ever asked me.
I know, me either. Fucking, it's mental, man.
Dean,
Yes, mate.
what is that behind you, behind your sofa? It looks like a giant bong. So the quality of your cams. What is it? The black thing.
Hang on a minute. Whereabouts you looking, mate?
To the left of your head, if you haven't got your cam mirrored.
Is that a speaker?
There.
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah,
It
that
looks like a chimney or a giant bong.
there. Yeah, it's the speaker.
That's a speaker.
Yeah, it's speaker in corner. You're on surround sound.
Right. Dolby Pro Logic, Irish and Scottish. Right.
It's Bush.
Birmingham 5.1.
I've got Kate Bush in thingy. She sings. She sings every word to me.
Okay.
I didn't.
One of was speaking about copper for Rotherham. They're talking about bringing in a new law just now so they can get him out.
What, the chief constable, the head of Rotherham Council?
The
Yeah,
one that won't resign.
yeah.
Please, actually, look,
Yeah.
step down.
They're talking about bringing a new law in to get him out to resign. But a new law to them's probably a backhander in it, man. It's fucking. That'll be him. He'll get a job in Westminster or something. There's a
I wonder
law
what-
in an OBE.
Why he's still there? Why he hasn't the attention that it's raised? What leverage he's got on other people that means that he can stay in that position and he has no
Aye.
pressure or the usual being told from above, right, you're out. You know, we can't maintain you in this position anymore. He must he must know. He must have certain things that are keeping him a little bit protected.
Protected,
How it all works,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch those videos from Nottingham the other day about the town hall protest about Nottingham Council?
Sri Lanka Sea, aye.
Ceylon and King Abdullah and all the other cool people there that bothered to sort of go out. And it was really well done, shouting in the court. Brilliant, lovely to see.
Aye, brilliant.
I showed my wife that. She couldn't believe that when she saw that, and it wasn't in the Evening Post. Well, you'd think it'd be on the front page of the Evening Post, but I don't think it was that night. It probably tucked away on page 4 or something.
But it was. We saw it. It was on YouTube. You've seen the faces of those fuckers there as soon as they get, not heckled, but get told what they do. The truth spoken to them, and they turn tail and run. You got some knobber on a microphone telling everybody to be quiet. It's a public gallery they're in.
I know, yeah.
And then the police turn up. All on their little radio.
What was that? I didn't see any of that. What was that?
It's in Nottingham.
Did you say Nottingham or Rothermere? Did you say Nottingham?
Yeah,
Nottingham.
It was the council house meeting, the council meeting at the council house in the Market Square in Nottingham. And the meeting was at 2 o'clock, so they had a protest up until the meeting. But before the meeting, because of the protest, they were invited by one of the councillors into the public gallery. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been there. But they were invited, so they went up there and took their opportunity, which was that was the bravery bit, because they had an opportunity, they took it. But I don't think when they got there to protest that morning, they knew that they would end up in the public gallery. So that was a hell of a bonus for them.
Yeah. All the councillors turned tail and walked out.
Yeah.
Right, you mean?
Yeah.
It was like, there were only a couple of them that were sat there a bit shocked, weren't there?
Well, they zoomed. Have you seen the video where they zoom in on the councillors, various councillors?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one of them there who he wasn't in where the guy with the microphone was. He wasn't sat there, but in front of that platform was a row with 3 or 4 of them on, and there was a skinny grey-haired gentleman second in on that front row there. And his name is Graham Chapman. He's the deputy leader of the council. And when I moaned to the Labour Party who were coming round at Europe time about they were a shower of shit and they wanted to introduce the Bradbury Pound, 3 days later I had him banging on my door wanting to know what I knew about the Bradbury Pound. And I said, well, I've got the book, The Financiers in the Nation. What bit do you want me to quote to you? And we both agreed within 10 minutes, because that's all he was here for, 10 minutes. We both agreed that within 10 minutes, not one MP in Parliament had got a pair of balls big enough to stand up and fight for the Bradbury Pound, including anybody in Nottingham City Council. And so we had a chat, and I brought up the subject of fracking, and he fucked off. Should have seen him go. Shot down the path. So... But yeah, he was one. He was in the chamber. But all this information about Melanie Shaw and the Beechwood Home, I knew nothing of that. And then when I started to find out, I found out that I got a chap I used to talk to in the social club before it closed down, who had to avoid ending up in the cellar, because apparently at Beechwood Children's Home, they had certain people around 2 or 3 times a week, and certain kids were taken down to the cellar, and sometimes to teachers or a head teacher, whoever it was. And I think this chap I used to talk to, it was his turn this particular night, and he jumped out of a 3-story bedroom window, broke both his legs and fractured his pelvis to avoid it. Yeah, and they've offered him 10 grand. And he's still arguing, but they've offered him 10 grand, and if he takes the 10 grand, he's not allowed to talk about it. It'll all be shut up.
10 grand.
10 fucking grand. Is that an insult or what?
Silly a fucking newspaper. He'll get about 40 for it.
Yeah.
But the newspapers won't take it up. That's the problem.
No. I you know,
There's always
I thought about mentioning it to him about the UK column and the campaign that they've got on with Melanie Shaw, but who wants to be the man that rings him up and says something to him that revives all that shit he's probably trying to forget? It ain't going to be me.
Yeah.
I've got more respect for him, really. But if I ever found out that he was asking questions, then I would make the move, But as far as I know, he from the guy that I spoke to, he's one of these people who just wants to put the fucker behind him and get on with it and forget it,
Like many others.
Mm.
That's a problem, isn't it?
Mm.
Sorry, chaps. I'm just trying to get Anthony, and he's trying to get in, and he's having problems. I'm just all over the place at the minute.
He's on his iPad. I have problems. That's why I've got to wear this bloody thing on the computer, because my there's no sound on my webcam on the computer, and I'm trying to connect on the iPad. I just can't do it. Just can't get on there now. So I'll try and send him a link off Google Plus. Have you given him the?
I've sent him a few.
Well, my friend, don't ever get back up to you for shouting.
Shut up.
Oh, he's just asked me for a link. 21, 22 minutes ago he asked me for a link. I'll agree with it tonight. What's he doing then when he's trying to connect?
I've no idea, mate.
Help.
Have you got that in? What's it?
Hmm?
Have you got that into the chat room?
What?
That link?
In the YouTube?
Yeah.
Put it on the chat.
There's a live chat on the YouTube page of this friendly chat room thing.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Have you managed to post a link?
Well, I haven't posted all the link. I've just posted the back end of it after the /. So that if you put, it won't let me put on a live link. It won't let you put a full URL while the Google Hangout is live for some reason.
I would like somebody else would need to pop out and do it. Listen, me, the untech guy.
I've just sometimes if you copy and paste it into a browser, it works as well. Sometimes, doesn't it? Oh, somebody fucking knocking on my door.
Unless I know what he's doing when he's trying to connect a car, I don't know what.
I don't know what's happening. It's
He doesn't normally have problems.
I know, that's what I was thinking then. See, for some reason, it's let me do an Hangout tonight on Google, and usually I have to use Firefox. Let me straight on tonight.
I met a mate of yours the weekend, Dean.
Who was that?
Peter Howard.
You met him?
Yeah, we're in a field in the middle of Wales, and I realised me, him, and my friend Sue were putting this fucking massive tent up. And I don't know how it came about. Google Hangout came up in conversation, and I stopped and looked at him and I said, "I've seen you in a Google Hangout. Are you in your living room with a wood staircase behind you, and you've been on with Cookie Monster and Bopalot and Dean?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "I was watching him. I was watching you on a Google Hangout last week, and like here we are in the fucking middle of nowhere, in this beautiful sort of campsite." And yeah, small world. The world ain't that big after all, is it?
Oh, I believe it was a good weekend as well, was it?
Oh mate, it was stumping. Tony was asking me earlier on how it was, and I said I wouldn't do it justice by trying to describe what it was, but I should have edited it yesterday. I'm putting a video together of the footage that I've got with the pictures that I've got from a lot of the people there, because I didn't take many pictures. Yeah, it was excellent, man. Excellent. Just a real high energy, just like loads of nice people, good people, and it was all about just sort of good, not tantric stuff and not way out there stuff, just genuinely good human beings that are congregated together, like we do on these things and like we do on on certain sort of groups and stuff. You come together because there's not many of you where you live, you know, so you need that sort of support. But there was about 100 of us there. It was and the sun was out as well, which was mad. Blue sky, weird.
£30 for a weekend.
Yeah, or 33 if you're Celtic. we went on the Friday night, so there's an extra 3. The bloke that owns the land is fully awake and informed as well. Errol, like big grey beard, looks like Uncle Albert from Only Fools during the war, you know. But he's a totally sound bloke, and yeah, bit of money back to him. And we had people who organised it shelled out for like hire a big marquee and a shitload of pallets to burn for the fires on the night. And, nice.
I've just noticed Taz and Cam's chatting away in chat group, in chat box. Jump in if you want, guys. You don't have to just sit and listen to us.
Is that Taz's avatar on there? Yeah. Hello,
Yeah,
Taz.
yeah. Mine is the owls. Yeah. So sorry, you was just chatting about other stuff, and I just thought, well, you're just gonna chat behind the scenes. I didn't want to interrupt what you were talking about. But no, you were saying about Nottingham earlier on, and me and Bob were just kind of having a chat about you know, years gone by. I'm fully aware of just telling Bob the social services scared the crap out of me, and that they were awful to me when I was a kid. And I don't think that much has changed now from, you know, the system, the way that I see it, and the way that these social workers and the schools, the way that they are with the parents, it is more like not so much carers. I think they're more nosy and digging into anything that that they can kind of glean out the parents to use as ammunition for them. I'll tell you a story. This is about my niece. She's 8 years old now, but when she was 7, she came home from school and was telling my sister about this new feelings box that they'd been put into their classroom. So my sister said, what's that all about then? And she said, oh, the teacher gives them pens and piece of paper and tells them to write down how they feel. And they can write about anything, about the school, about their home, or about anything they want. And my sister was like, right, yeah, okay, go on. And so she said, then at the end of the day, the teacher reads them to herself. Now, my sister wasn't informed about this at all. My sister obviously was very upset when she heard about it, and you know, proceeded up to the school, and then basically by the end of the week pulled the kids out of the school, and she homeschooled them for a little while, and now she's moved area. They're in another school, but she's now more on the ball with regards to like the home welfare. When she said that she was going to homeschool them, you know, she did meet quite a few barriers in homeschooling her own children. You know, the school wanted to send somebody round, you know, to inspect, and anyway, she kind of dealt with them, but more over the phone, and sent them a letter and looked more into, you know, what homeschoolers do, and you know, basically, I think once my sister kind of put the Board of Education on notice of how she was going to deal with her own kids, they kind of backed off. But I think that, you know, that they really tried to put her off of homeschooling her own children, like basically saying, you know, insinuating that she wouldn't be able to cope with it, which obviously was red flag to a to my sister, which made her more determined than ever to you know, prove them wrong, and she did. But with unfortunately, she has 3 children, so it's not just one. But now, obviously, they're getting a bit bigger. But she's put them back in school. But she's more aware now of what goes on in their classrooms, and what they're being taught. The other thing with my niece, and the fact that she pulled her out, as she kept coming home in a bad mood. And my sister, in the end, sort of said, you know, well, what have you been doing? You know, tell me what you've been doing. And she gave my sister a picture and said, oh, okay, so that's, you know, what else have you been doing while you were there? And she said, I've already told you once. And so she said, no, well, what else did you do besides the picture? And she said, that's all we did all day. So they spent all day just doing one picture. And my niece kept saying to the teacher, well, can we do some maths, and can we do this? She's a bright little girl. And in the end, she told her to basically just shut up and go and sit down. You know, so, you know, I don't think they're just at the moment, it's like a glorified babysitting service. They're not really teaching them anything else. She overheard one of the teachers, what they were called kind of classroom helpers, in the nursery school bit for her youngest one. This was in the other one. And she heard them talking to, you know, one of the potential parents there, and this woman basically turned around to to this other lady that was there and said, oh, don't bother to teach your children ABC or anything like that, because it will confuse them. We'll do it all when they get here.
People have to get past the idea that school is anything but a system indoctrination or prison planet system.
Correct.
They ring the bell when they go to class. They ring the bell for recess. They ring the bell for lunch. They ring the bell to go home.
Yeah.
Or they ring the bell to go to the cell, or they.
Yeah. And that's basically it's just it, you know. And so I said to my sister, now can you kind of see a bit more of a bigger picture here with regards to, you know, how our children are now being brought up and kind of developed or indoctrinated, I should say. And so she's a lot more aware now of what her kids are, you know, what they're being taught. And you know, I've told her about the other agendas with regards to the sexual education, which they're now it's now going under the heading of health. So they're going to start, you know, bringing more.
Schools as well, aren't they?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they're bringing all of that in at a younger age. I just think it's all part of this paedophile agenda. I'm sorry, but that's how I see it. I heard, and I heard this about 2 years ago, from, I think it was from America that I heard this, and they were saying about they're going to be developing more schemes. You know, they're now bringing more books into the schools about, you know, mixed parents, and, you know, Bob and his friend Gary, you know, and
Bob and Jim get married and have children.
Yes. And you know, all books about my two mommies, and, you know, things like this. You know, it's basically totally destroying what would normally be classed as a traditional family made of mom and dad, and, you know, that's all kind of being distorted as such.
Broken down and destroyed, because that's where strength comes from. We've got a community and we've got a family, and that's what's always been strong amongst all of us as a species, and they're busting that apart.
Correct.
We've become proper slaves.
I think it's all like, you know, as well as a destroying and breaking down of everybody's relationships. You know, grandparents aren't really that close to the grandchildren anymore. You know, I remember my two nanas used to live, you know, very close, kind of within a couple of streets of each other. But you know, now people's relatives live all over. You know, so they're not the close bond with the families anymore.
There is not many, but there still is.
Mine's are still like that.
Yeah, oh, that's good. And the other agenda that I heard was, you know, the adopt grandparents. So they're going to start, you know, kind of bringing in grandparents under the guise of being part of the family unit, and you know, and it's all a good thing. But behind that also is the paedophile agenda of getting, you know, older people, you know, with regards to mixing with the younger age children.
Can I read something to you?
Go
right. This is from about the 6th or 7th page into Christopher Story's book called The EU Collective. And there's a page there which is, I'll read you the headline off the page, and it's National Destabilization Plan of KGB GRU based on Soviet defector intelligence. And there's the way they're destabilizing society, and it's listed under certain major headings down in that there's like 3 columns. And let's say we'll take the first section. It's in several sections, and the first section is ideas. And with regard to education, there's little keywords at the side of it. So education, they've got 2 words: permissiveness, relativity. Then it goes across to the other section, and you get, if there's something that's relevant to the central section, then it goes across. But for instance, at the top it's got religion, especially true Christianity. They politicize it, commercialize it, scurrilous happy clappy events, i.e. born agains, entertainment in the case of true Christianity, ignorance of scripture, empty ritual, women priests, racism, permissiveness, relativity, monopolization of news and comment. And then in the far right column you've got diversionary claptrap, false religion, sex, divination, magic, sorcery, charismania, death wish, spiritual desert. And then in places like structure we go across to law and order, and that is legislated, imposed, inconsistent, unwarranted bias in favor of offender in certain cases. And I would think that you know, we've got to think about that for a minute. Victimization of victim, and we're getting that within the child abuse cases. Rights, not obligations, and the whole page is literally describes how the KGB break down the breakdown of society, and according to this book, this is what they are using in this constant breakdown of society-ness that we're suffering at the moment.
Hello, so please repeat the name of the book and the author.
The author is Christopher Story, and its Story is spelled S-T-O-R-Y, and the book is called EU Collective, and it's available as an ebook on a PDF file.
Cool.
The next to bottom section is called The Triumph of Subversion, and section 15 of that says something about the power struggle, and in the middle, the heading over that is the destabilization stage after 2 to 5 years, populism, irresponsible power struggle, destruction of legal substructure, bargaining process, industry, currency, red tape, excessive taxation, arbitrary abuse of power by bureaucrats. I haven't read it all, but I think that I've read enough for a few symptoms there for people to recognise that all this lot's structured, staged, and it's all coming in.
Yeah.
You know, like the big society is backed up by the teachings of Saul Alinsky, a known fucking Marxist activist. So
I was going to say it's cultural. A lot of what you read out there, a lot of the words included, certainly, it's cultural Marxism, and it is used as a wedge. You know, it's driven in as a wedge to create divisions, which then allows you to fracture the structures.
Yeah, and what Tazzy was saying about the way the kids are educated. The kids are educated and being educated with all this bullshit in mind, so that when they come of age, they're not really mentally prepared for what's out there. So they become subjects, rather, you know.
They've got no cognitive abilities to think for themselves. They just follow.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
That's where I've been saying that we've got to intervene on that, and as many parents are awake, they've got to start educating their kids. You know, for instance, you know Gary, don't you, Paul? He's got that Lewis up there, Spud. Gary's, it might sound obscure, but in one room, he's got some stuff written on the walls. It's a bit like graffiti. But it's not graffiti, it's Newton's laws of physics. And it's got all bits and bobs like that written on the wall. And if you talk to Spud, and Spud's, is he 9 or 8? If you get onto the subject of physics and stuff like that, and the laws of physics, Spud can quote you these laws and he understands them, because they've been littering around in Gary's room with as though they're just bits and bobs of graffiti. And the kid has taken them in because they're in his surroundings. And
because his dad's, he's got a strong connection with his dad, and that's what his dad does. So he's naturally going to follow that way. And he's a switched-on little kid, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 8 years old. But it just shows you that if we make the effort, and you know, if you change what you do by 10% towards helping them, and think about something, the kids pick up on stuff so easy, and it becomes part of them from a young age.
I've got some good friends in Devon, and they're raising their grandchild. Is you know, for X, Y, and Z, and he's 11. Jack's his name. Really super bright, well constructed little mind, and he's educating the kids in his new school now about chemtrails above, and
good for him.
He knows the programming. It's like an adult almost. He doesn't sit there and play games. He's listening to the adult conversation and takes it all in, and he's able to relate to other 11-year-olds. And if there were more of him around, then that's a real good way to fight back. You know?
Yeah. My grandson's 12. Fury was at the junior school. I mean, they call them by year numbers now. I don't know what that year that is.
Americanized.
He was just turned 11 and moving up to the next level with the older kids the year after. But the last year of the junior school, as I would call it, the stuff they were doing, we came up, we were talking at my son's place one Saturday afternoon, and how we got to religion, I don't know. And I said, "Do you do religion at school?" He goes, "Yeah, but you know, we don't do that much. It's because obviously junior school kids have got various stuff going on the day, so there are various subjects." And I said, "Do you want to know how to prove the existence of a creator God? If someone ever asks you how to prove the existence of God," I said, "there's something that you can do to prove that." And I taught him the Fibonacci sequence, and he got the hang of it straight away. And apparently a few weeks later at school, when they were talking about God, he said that he could prove that God exists. And they said, how can you do that? You know, I know we've got the Bible, but how can you prove God exists? So he taught the class the Fibonacci sequence on the board, and he said, and everything in life, plants, snail shells, all sorts of things that grow at the rate of the Fibonacci sequence. And all the scientists have found this out, the way leaves are constructed. It's all this algorithm stuff within plants. And he taught the kids at school that, and he got a little award for it. But one of the teachers mentioned in his report that they had never thought of that, and they were so fucking proud of him that he'd come to school and proved the existence of a creator by using maths. You know, they thought it was a huge concept for the fucking kids to make a major step forward.
Well, they didn't have many white coats taking them away, mate.
But had he not raised that question, the point is, had he not raised that information at school, because we'd been talking about it and I'd shown him how it worked, it would never have been bloody well mentioned at school. They wouldn't have talked about it.
Yeah, that's it, and they don't properly teach now, really. It's open.
But even the teachers aren't. They're not taught. They're not educated when they study to become a teacher to be a proper teacher. They're given their instructions as well. Their programming.
Just repeaters.
Yeah, that's the sort of point that actually, Paul, because my daughter teaches the older kids. She teaches up to A level.
Not all
English,
but the majority do.
She's mainly English literature rather than English language. And I said to her that if you wanted to give these kids some kind of fulfillment, English teachers would teach kids the difference between or would teach them the history of English and how it's been used as a legalese trap for almost everybody who speaks the language, and teach them some of the traps for them to grow up with, so that when they get to the right age, they know not to sign declarations, or they know where they stand when a policeman stops them in the street, you know. I mean, there was a post tonight where it was of this two coppers who were doing stop and searches on the kids because a telephone call had been received by the police officers, and allegedly these kids were carrying something, so they allegedly had the right to stop and search them. And this bloke jumped out there and was saying to the coppers, I mean, this is a Tony Meehan line, where's your proof of claim? Based upon what proof or evidence have you got the right to approach these kids and start searching them all? And they said, well, we've had a phone call. He goes, a phone call from who? You know, is it
I can't tell you that because of data.
No. Yeah, but even so, if they want to execute a particular action on the street, then they should have a legitimate reason to do it. And they're just going on a telephone call, and this guy says to him, well, see that woman across the road, she's got drugs in her handbag. I've just made a complaint. Why aren't you shooting over there to search her? And they never went, you know, obviously.
Colin from Great Yarmouth, he put a video up the other couple of days ago. 2 PCSOs turned up at his house because someone had alleged that his children were up at the window, and they put a sign up saying, "Help me," and they can't even write. So, and then these 2 plastic coppers turned up, and it was just total madness. It was an allegation. They wouldn't tell him who made the allegation. They didn't even know themselves, but they're there trying to force the authority onto Colin. They picked the wrong fucker that day. Chewed him a new one.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Brilliant.
I'm sure there's a lot. It's just been came out in the UK, and they can do a stop and search without any reason.
No, they have to have reasonable cause. They have to be able to.
There used to be they could have a reasonable cause, but I'm sure now they can just do a stop and search. I'm sure I've seen a post about a week, or it was on the news or something.
No, what? Since they've raised the terror level, you mean that they've given them new powers? I've not read that. I'm still of the understanding that they have to be able to quote the reason why they've stopped someone.
Yeah, well, I'm sure.
I don't know. I think London. I think like England. I think you're right there. They just stop searching anybody.
I'm sure there's a law that's just come out. I'm sure I can swear by it. I seen something about it the other day, to be honest. It's just as we were speaking about it came back to us a wee bit. Sorry, Dean, on you go.
I was just wondering if it's linked to the Terrorism Act, then could it be because they've raised the terrorism threat level, which then would give them authority to do whatever, similar to the Riot Act?
Yeah.
If they declare that they think there's going to be a riot, then they can search you without any reasonable suspicion. They can arrest you without any reasonable suspicion. It might be that, but I don't recall seeing any news articles about it or whatever, so I don't know.
It doesn't take much for them to say that they've received it properly. Anyway, that's what they normally make up.
I'm struggling to hear you, Fairy Poo, and I've turned you up as much as I can.
It's probably this thing. I've not got it that better.
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
It gets in the way of my beer. I don't like having these on. I feel stifled.
I know. I just have it come through speakers and just put them around me. I mean, I can have the microphone below. Just move
It's
it.
happening far in Ferguson just now. There's been arrests in Ferguson. There's riots. I think they're just about kicking off in Ferguson just now. There's lots of pictures on Twitter.
Ferguson?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still going on.
Yeah. They've closed off a highway in Ferguson. And there's protesters at the highway and they're blocked from both ends of it. They've actually blocked the protesters in. So there'll probably be a lot more arrests. There's pictures all over Twitter. Do you want me to put a link on?
Yeah, please do, mate, yeah.
I'm just trying to find out, see if there's a live link anywhere, see if I can get it up.
There's live links on Twitter, Dean. I'll just look for them, just see if I can get them in, mate.
Drop the link in the group chat at the side.
I've got one, I think. I think I've got one.
I was just downloading that book.
Where an act of civil disobedience does occur.
Got one.
But I just thought I'd share that for anybody that didn't understand what the effect of blocking a highway was, because
that club, this one. Let me find the best.
oddly enough,
he's in a bloody car. That's no good, is it? And it's raining.
Explains what the background noise was.
It was raining.
It's my understanding that Ferguson is being orchestrated and played from within.
Yeah, definitely.
Further cause trouble.
Yeah, incite the people to get on the streets so less people will vote yes.
Yeah, correct.
We don't want to descend into anarchy. We need to stay in the union.
Isn't blah blah giving a speech tonight?
See?
I think.
Yeah, is he still over here or is he back over there now?
Hopefully back over there.
They sent oh God, which one of them is it that's currently landed in Iraq?
Kerry.
The last I heard about Barack Obama, my wife shouted through not so long ago off the news. Barack Obama had announced that we're going to do airstrikes on Syria.
Right. Yeah, I thought there'd be some kind of connection to his speech. Did you say it was Kerry that's in Iraq?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Then, if he's there, be on the lookout for news stories to do with anything to do with the CIA in Iraq.
Yeah.
Kerry seems to be the diplomatic face for CIA actions.
Yeah. When he turns up, trouble rocks up pretty soon after.
Yep.
Okay.
And to answer Ken's question chat. Sorry, mate. Just to answer Ken's question in the chat. Yeah, tomorrow I'm not going to be doing much of anything. I'm not going to be feeding into the system. If I can help it, I'll be turning off the computer and whatever.
I didn't know about that. I've not heard about that until I just read Ken type it. So it's like an international day to go dark, is it?
Yeah,
If you want to,
clients, we're not playing.
yeah.
It's a day of mourning for our lost liberty.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. They can get on with it. I'm bored. I've got enough to do in here, so.
I've got one here, but you're not going to like it. It's Fox News.
Who's it coming from?
Fox News.
Fox. Oh well, that's bound to be true then. Go on, put it on. That'll be a laugh.
Right, Rick.
Keep it load up now. It's
Evening, Mr. Orwell.
Faux news.
Hello.
Right, let me find.
Pictures on Twitter are fucking crazy.
On Twitter, you're not live feeds on there.
Mate, I've got that many fucking followers on this. I've seen about 8 links a minute ago, I know.
Tell me if it goes off this when I press full screen. Oh, hang on, I've not done that.
I'll check and see it then.
It's up, Dean.
Yeah, I've got to change thingy so it doesn't flash off when if somebody talks. Tell me if it goes off when I press full screen.
Still on.
Still on. Super.
So,
It looks like it's froze actually.
The wonders of modern technology.
Yeah, sorry chaps, that one's froze. I'll continue and see if I can find one.
We all need to get 4G.
Yeah, you need to get Google implants straight to the brain.
Yeah.
I've gone through the channel now.
Yeah, cut out the middleman.
Yeah, we'll get hardwired into the system. We'll do a lawnmower man each.
When they come to wire me in, the first thing I'm going to do is do a digital poo all over their stuff.
For a backup, yeah?
Yeah. Pixelate that, you bastards.
Not getting very far.
Well, in my opinion, 9/11 should be forevermore be a global day of mourning because of the lost lives created by that lie. I mean, everybody should just stay away from driving, from going to work, call in sick, call in fuck you, pardon me, but fuck you to the system, and stay home and turn off TV, turn off radio, turn off computers, turn off everything that they want you to pay attention to, because everything that they want you to pay attention to is bullshit. So if we can just stay away from it for one day, not buy anything, not sell anything, not sell your time to them, not take a paycheck from their rotten money, not spend any of their rotten money anywhere. Just one day of global mourning for the loss of life over that lie that was 9/11, and the millions of lives gone, the constant stamping of the boot on our face, the chains around our necks and around our ankles from not just CIA and MI5, MI6, the FBI, Mossad. They're all watching every move. They're listening to every word.
Correct.
I mean, if one day we can just say, screw you, and just go for a walk, just go grab a shovel and dig a hole in the yard and fill it back up. I don't care what you do, but stay away from their bullshit for one day.
Yep, totally agree, mate.
For
Yeah.
one day.
Sounds like a plan.
A good way for me anyway, to link this to what's potentially going on in Ferguson, that's an example of the authority, the structure, the state hurting one person at a time. That incident between the copper and the guy that got shot, yeah, that's one person. Whereas what we're addressing here is trying to point at the root of the problem of these people through their treason and their lies and their bullshit cause the deaths of thousands and thousands and thousands of us.
Millions.
Millions, yeah.
Millions.
Because 9/11 led to the invasion of Afghanistan. It led to the invasion of Iraq. It opened the door. I mean, who was using bloody depleted uranium in Iraq? The British and the Americans.
Yeah.
And Israelis.
And you know, it's not just creating birth defects amongst American and British ex-servicemen. It's creating huge problems amongst the population.
How many of you have heard of the poop trucks that they use in Israel? They run these big tanker trucks around with these spray nozzles and shoot this toxic stench mix wherever the Palestinians are hanging out, and they make it so you can't even stand there to protest your own suffering. I mean,
that's pretty disgusting. It's no wonder our government haven't.
Well, that's
idea.
Over here, they're using the radio, they're using the TV, they're using our own computers, throwing their stench at us.
Yeah, electronically speaking.
Exactly, electronically, they're throwing their stench at us, metaphysically, spiritually, every day that we log on to the web or read one of their bullshit emails or listen to their bullshit stories. They're physically shitting on our brains.
Yep.
Am I reading it wrong, or is this just one day that we can stay away?
You're totally right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got to keep chatting about it, though.
I mean, what's one day gonna do to us? I mean, one day of no computer, I can do that. One day of no TV, well, that's been 7 years ago since I've written. But everything, not buying any groceries, not buying any gas, not making any payments, not going to the post office, not mailing any mail, nothing. Staying completely off the streets, so not even the coppers have anything to do but sit and wiggle their finger up their own asshole instead of ours.
Or eat donuts.
It's probably one of the most healthiest choices you could make.
Yeah.
For one day, 9/11 should be forevermore a day of infamy and mourning. I mean,
a lot of people have died as a knock-on effect of the, even of the cover-up of 9/11. All these so-called experts at things, suddenly they started dying, and we've had countless assassinations since then. Ridiculous.
The firemen, the New York firemen have been dying from the dust for years, haven't they?
Yeah.
And the drones.
I talked to a 23-year-old kid today that in school they didn't even teach him about the Reichstag fire. He'd never even heard of the Reichstag fire that enabled Germany to start their reign of terror. They didn't teach him that in school. He's 23 years old, and they didn't teach him about the Reichstag fire. They didn't teach him about the law in Missouri, where he lives. In Missouri, in the 1840s, 1850s, 1860s, you could legally commit murder on a Mormon because they had a different faith. You could legally commit murder because of somebody carrying a different book.
I'll end history. The only thing I got from I'll history, and it's up to the secondary school, was 1066. That's how I got in history in secondary school.
Yeah.
We got taught bloody Tar McAdams, the steam engine combustion, the roads. That's what we pretty much useless history was taught in my secondary school. Nothing that. Most history is skewed anyway, isn't it? It's written by the victors. It's the stuff we taught about war.
Well, everybody should keep their kids home from school. Everybody should stay home. Everybody should turn off the computers. Everybody, I mean, if everybody did this, imagine they would see a wave, you know, like a sine wave on a radio. They would see something that's not happening that they expect to happen.
But how many
will? Be able to notice.
How many? I've never heard about this until you mentioning it.
Well, I've been talking about it. I've been talking about it for 5 years.
Yeah, don't pay the.
Well, yeah, in reference to just this one particular day, it's come up again because we started. Well, I started putting up a video called 9/11 No Pay for It Day, based on conversation we had in a hangout on Kenny and Linda's channel, you know, Linda Little Bear, where he was talking about the same kind of thing. Yeah, the use of passive non-compliance, primarily via the wallet, to affect this system. You know, this system is powered by the energy we put into it. So stop putting energy into it.
I don't. Yeah, but the global day of it is this. This isn't an international thing that's being done. This is something that's.
Apart from the fact that it's got people like me here in the UK and people in the USA and people in Europe involved in it, this only come up over the last week, right? So I can't say it's like an international day.
Oh, right.
I'll be quite happy if people, you know, if people take it up that way. Great, that's brilliant. You know, that's how the best sort of grassroots memes start. People like the idea, so they just take it along and pass it on. Yeah, if it does that, if it connects it, because similar to Kemba, I've been talking about non-compliance for years. Really, the only, I feel, sensible way to deal with this system, because you can't throw yourself onto its walls, because it'll just eat you alive. It'll quite happily do that, because that's the way it operates. So you have to withdraw your energy from it. Non-compliance, a national strike, all these kind of stuff I've been talking about for years. It's the only way you're going to make them disempowered, and at that point you will have enough public awareness that the public will start to be able to naturally self-organise into a structure that will allow them to hold these people responsible. You'll be able to have proper civil courts and stuff like that, lawful rebellion effects, you know. But first things first, stop empowering it in the first place.
For one day, do not submit, do not comply, do not obey, do not participate.
We glanced on this last night with James Cox from North Carolina, and he was saying that the thing that brought Britain to its knees was the fuel tanker strikers, because within a very short period of time, they brought the country to the knees by not delivering petrol to petrol stations and diesel.
I know I'd say this just as a sort of rhetorical question, Kendo, but you remember the 70s? And all the strikes during the 70s, that was a proof of labour power. You know, I'm not talking communism or Marxism or anything like that. This is just the common man, general populace, the everyday people, proving that this shit will not operate if they're not fueling it. If they're not the ones turning the handle and shoveling the shit, nothing happens. Yeah. So all those strikes that took place throughout the 70s proved the power of the unions. Yeah, and it proved that we could make them stop what they were doing. All we had to do was down tools. Yeah. And lo and behold, what happened next? In comes Maggie, and the unions get completely fucking squished and turned into lapdog poodles that they are now.
Plus, she subverted the nation as well. If you remember, Cookie, she subverted half of the miners into not striking. Because, or if you remember, all the NOTS miners, they never came out because they weren't part of this. They were with Gretorix, was his name, rather than the other guy, Scargill. So you'd got like literally one section of the coal miners' union went up against the others. That's why there was lots of battles going on. But apart from that, the Tory government at the time were literally subverting the news, trying to get everyone against the miners because they were the ones that, you know, every time they bloody well go on strike, you have power cuts and your gas gets turned off. So it turned public opinion against the miners, and eventually that's why they lost.
The thing was, Kendall, she wanted all the mines shut down because she knew she had oil.
Yeah.
The North Sea oil coming.
That's right, yeah.
And she didn't have to subsidise all the miners anymore.
Yeah, but the amount of subversion that was being used, I mean, then the steel workers got a dose of it. You know, if you remember, there was like steel yards closing down all over the place. And one big one in Nottingham, Stamped Iron Works, they used to create all these big, huge steel sections of pipe or cast iron sections of pipe, whatever they were. And they were shipped you see lorry loads of those leaving Nottingham on a daily basis. All that died a death. The whole site now is just an industrial area.
Yeah, the same in Scotland, Ravenscraig.
My point in bringing this up is to show to people, look, it doesn't take a long search back in history or whatever, you know, this is recent history, this is living memory, where the power of your non-compliance can stop this system in its tracks. Yeah. And if you research other places in history, you'll find that in the long run, the system, the state, the bureaucracy, whatever you want to call it, will prove itself for what it is. It will truly show itself for the monster it is. When you push it right up to that barrier of non-compliance, what do? They react with force every time. It's a baton to the head. It's a saber charge. You know, it's cannons firing into crowds of people. That is what the system is based on. So if you want to stop the power of that system, stop fucking feeding it. You know, people will self-organise. History proves that as well. When there's a blackout, people self-organise. When there's a catastrophe, people self-organise, and they just get on with it, because that's what we do. Yeah, the people who do the producing and the running of society, the real running of it, your services, your ambulance, fire engine, they just get on with shit. It's the people at the top of the pyramid who don't know how to do that. They only know how to do it by telling you what to do. Yeah. Stop fucking listening to them. Stop complying with them. Sorry, rant over.
Well, Cookie, we had we had a major discussion last night. We've got a choice to make. I don't know whether you're up to par with this one, Paul, but on November the 1st, our system of law changes to corpus juris, which is Roman Napoleonic law. You're guilty until proved otherwise, whereas it's the other way around at the moment.
Wow, allegedly.
And allegedly, yeah. But on November the 1st, we've got to make a decision as the people of England, well, the people of Britain, because if Europe gets away with that, then the treason is complete. All the MPs. All of them have done nothing. If they allow this to happen,
they're complicit.
And if we accept it, then we too are complicit with treason, and there's nothing we can do about it. So, in as much as Scotland has got a one-time opportunity, so have all of us. Because if they impose this Nice Treaty and it gets ratified, then we're all involved. And at the moment, I mean, we glanced on it last night. At the moment, our natural response to that is to invoke Article 61 of the Magna Carta and get something done about it that way. And we did put I think you put an article up last night, Dean, where it's been invoked in the past has never failed. Because they're not allowed to take our historical laws and customs away from us. That's why I wish Tony Meehan was in the chat room at the moment, because he's strong on that.
I've got it here. All them links from last night, I've saved them.
So we too have got some decisions to make, and like we were saying, that it's up to us to get everybody aware and educate them up to the level so that they have not got this internal fear factor putting them off doing it. Because if we don't invoke lawful rebellion over the Nice Treaty, then we're all sunk. Same as the Scottish are. You know, if we don't sort it out this one time, then we've allowed the tyranny to complete its full circle.
Yeah.
Well, Tim, you don't need specifically educated people to stay the hell home. You don't need
no, I agree.
People not to go shopping. You don't need
but most
people not to get in abortion. You can just tell them to stay home, because if they stay home, they're not feeding the beast. I mean, that's a very basic message. Just stay home and don't feed the beast.
Yeah, but it's who's going to comply with that at the end of the day.
That's up.
And you know, when you invoke Article 61 of Magna Carta, you have literally, it's your duty as a citizen. If this country's in lawful rebellion against its masters, it would be Westminster, and if Article 61 has been invoked, that means that we do get help from 25 barons, whether that's any good or not. But it also means that it's our responsibility, in the terms of the Magna Carta, to literally impede government and prevent it from doing its normal everyday thing. So as many suggestions, as many ideas to facilitate that, the more that come, the merrier. So, and that is one good way of doing it. You know, everybody has a day where, no, we're not taking part for today. You can say what you like, we're not taking part, we're not feeding you. You know, but
Article 61 though, Clause 61 I should say, it's a bit long to read out again, Ken, no, but
yeah,
into Google you get it.
Just playing devil's advocate here, but won't the majority just go with it anyway? They just go with not even the flow, they go with what they're encouraged or their programming tells them to do. Not even make a decision about a thing, but just let it, you know, they're too distracted or they're too under pressure to do other things. And there's still too many of them that haven't got any interest in what we're discussing here. They're just, you know.
Yeah, as long as Coronation Street's on and they can watch the footy and X Factor and whatever, yeah, they ain't bothered. The thing is that because the one thing that worries me with this Lisbon Treaty shit is it's going to descend into something like the end of the French Revolution, where the legislation just grinds down and down and down and becomes so fucking absurd and ridiculous. But anyway, the point is, as this thing is grinding down and gripping tighter, more and more people are going to be affected by it. That's already been happening over the last few years with the austerity bullshit. To more people, it's unfortunate to say this, but the general populace don't really care. As long as they and their loved ones are okay and whatever, they're not really bothered until it starts to hit them in their wallet. And once it starts to actually... Well,
if they have a catalyst in their life, if they have something that makes them sort of step up and can impact them mentally enough, whether it's a repossession or someone, social services taking their child or whatever, they start to see things for the reality that they are, and it's getting them. It's getting, and there's more and more people experiencing a catalyst like that because of the clamp, the screws that are being tightened by the establishment.
For me, one of my, I wouldn't say goals, because I'm not under any delusion that I'm going to get to an end achievement, as it were. One of my aims was to basically lessen the sheer amount of suffering that is going to occur because of that. So in other words, if something I put out there, something I say or whatever to somebody helps them get to that catalyst point before they get to it via suffering, then hopefully it will be lessened. Yeah, they'll start seeing this shit for what it is before it actually comes knocking on their door. But it's, I think, an unfortunate part of reality that for a lot of people, they won't take any notice until it is knocking on their door. So we just got to point that out to them. Say, why are you suffering? Why are you unhappy? Why do you think everything's shit? Well, there you go. Now what are you going to do about it? You
But I mean, we said at the beginning of all this discussion, right at the beginning tonight, that the fear factor, they always promote the fear factor. All their subversion at the moment is all wrapped around fear of what's going to happen in Iran or Iraq, fear of what's going to happen in Syria, Ukraine, this, that, and the other. And if we're going to tackle a lawful rebellion, the only way we can reduce the fear factor is by teaching people how to deal with themselves, to make them realise that they are human beings and not bloody corporate entities. You know, and that's part of it as well.
Yeah.
You know, realising that you're a human being and not Mr., Mrs. or Ms. You know, I know that's all back onto this common law stuff, but it's all part of removing the fear factor, because most, you know, people, most people, if they're pulled up by a copper, the first thing they'll do is just capitulate straight away and you know, give them the details, da-di-da-di-do-da, which is feeding their system in that way as well, you know.
Yeah. Especially when you get dragged through the court system. Yeah, the amount of profit that they generate out of that. Most definitely, you are a very tasty commodity for them to feed into their system.
And
this is one of the reasons why I try not to encourage people to outright conflict. Put it this way: be aware of the consequences of your actions. So if you choose to stand up to that copper who's being belligerent and have it out with him, that's up to you. But be aware of the fact that if you wind him up the wrong way, he's more than likely going to drag you off to a cell for the night and blah, blah, blah. Whereas if you know, or at least got some knowledge of the kind of things you're talking about, you'll be able to stand your ground without actually antagonising him. You don't have to get yourself into trouble to be able to effect some kind of change or redirect the shit that's going on. You know, the best way to do it is do it in such a way that you're not getting the truncheon on the head, but you're still getting your point across. You know, so be aware of the consequences of what you take on, and take on what you feel able to deal with. If you're willing to be arrested, great, go for it, mate. You know, but be aware that that's what they're going to fucking do to you.
And I mean, if you think that the way that they drag us into this fucking tyranny by creating things like poll tax, and then when people are suffering because there's not enough work, blah 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 blah, we all know what's happening. You know, they're getting dragged into a fake court to remove a fine away from them, and it's all part of the tyranny, man. I mean, we are at the moment. I mean, as you well know, Paul, through Response, people are being educated now about what goes on with bailiffs when they come banging on the door. So that is part of the problem being cleared up. You know.
Yeah, there are a lot of people as well that haven't. They can foresee that they're going to struggle in the very near future with just keeping their head above water, staying afloat financially in their paradigm. So they're already reaching out and looking for potential help out there. There is a growing number, but I was chatting with a friend of someone that both Cookie and Dean know at the weekend, and we were chatting about Peter Howard, and we were chatting a lot about this. We both agreed that there's a lot of us that are informed, awake, but we were all talking, I mean, have been for quite a while now, amongst ourselves more than outside of our circles, to the people that we need to bring into our circles to increase the numbers, which we're stifling, and we're starting to especially with all these Google Hangouts that are cropping up, they're going to start causing subdivision amongst us, you know.
It's already happening.
Yeah, because it's a natural thing for us to prefer the company of certain people that are more on our level. So you'll get people that aren't welcome in a certain group, and other people that are floating amongst groups, and it's not good. It's not a positive thing. It's not a productive thing amongst us. We're tending. I see this all slowing down a little bit and concentrating inwardly and a bit negatively instead of outwardly. I know we all do, or most of us do, our own little thing in our own worlds where we always try and sort of help, raise the consciousness or plant a seed in others. But
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I talk about it to my family and whatever I hear. Whether they take it, I don't know. It's a different story.
Don't they think you're mad though, James? Don't you?
Yes.
My family think that I'm, joking aside, mentally, on some levels mentally unstable because of the reality that I know, and they can't get past their fear barrier. It's funny. You've got to laugh at it because it's.
I know. It's funny.
It's exactly the same. Because I never took one interest before. One interest whatsoever in whatever went on in the world. Now that I do, there's something wrong with me.
Yeah.
The thing is, we all kind of left it a bit late to wake up and see in the next generation of kids. There's a lot of kids in now that are like over 12-year-old and all the rest of it. And just imagine what they're going to be like when they get to your age.
Yeah.
Well, this is something that's something, mate. It's one of the things that makes me optimistic, because I keep encountering and meeting younger people, like half my age, who are already telling me about stuff that it took me years to figure out. And I'm like, yes, if you're at that stage already at your age, then when you're my age, you're going to be running these guys off down the road, which is exactly what we need. Great.
Younger people, how old are you?
Me, mid-40s, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you still got catching up, mate.
I've got my son's fucking, he's 15, he's coming up for 16, and him and all his pals and all that, they've all got Anon masks and they're following all the stuff that happens with Anon and all that. And his school, honestly, it's fucking great. So if they're doing that, and I just think what they'll be like when they get to their mid-40s or whatever, man. And half of them are like fucking lawyers and stuff like that. Now,
I think
do you know what I mean? It's up to them to be able to change the world in the future, and they've got a good chance of doing it. Be spreading it on.
Part of the answer, I think, to our problems is land, is acquiring some land and creating our own food supply, and harvesting water and stuff like that, and becoming self-reliant and doing things for ourselves where you're not relying on grocery stores, supermarkets, and things like that. We've got to build the new future. You can't change this this existing thing. It's got to be. Yeah, hydroponics is a great way. Yeah.
If we could only get that land.
One other thing I wanted to point out, because you mentioned about age.
Say, if we could only get that land, the country would do me, where people like us could go to and prove to the rest of the world that this could be done.
Well, people are starting to do it. I watched a video of some people in Spain, this old village that people had walked away from for whatever reason. I guess they wanted they wanted to live like the Western world, have fancy cars and all the new gadgets and stuff like that. And people walked away from it. I'll have to find the video. And
I know which one you mean. I can't remember the name of the village, but they basically reclaimed the village with the permission of the people in the area, if there was any. But they got permission to take it back over, and they've turned it into its own self-sufficient.
Right, they've got solar panels. Wind generating turbines. There's a couple of people in there. They've turned one of the buildings into a bakery.
Right, this before, haven't we?
Well, that's another thing Alex Salmon says with independence for Scotland. They were talking about wave power now, because they live in the Antarctica or whatever it is. Talk about that.
Tidal generation.
Aye, tidal generation.
It's been shown that if put in the right kind of places, I think the Firth of Forth was one of the places that were, in the inlet, the main inlet, because the amount of tidal movement that goes through there, it could one generator which isn't exactly a massive amount of machinery. One item there could generate about 30% of your required power needs.
Yeah.
So it's something that's been stifled for a number of years. Tidal generation on the whole proves better, more efficient than wind power and solar power.
It's always there, isn't it?
Yeah. The other thing I wanted, just slightly stepping back a bit and not miss the subject, talking about age and that age difference between younger people being a lot more aware of this stuff. This is something actually I mentioned earlier, I think, talking about the don't get stuck in the kind of romanticized idea that because of the age you are, you've awoken now, or you're awakening to all this stuff that's going on, and you're the first generation that's ever done it, so you're trying to tell the younger generation what's going on and whatever. This happens in every generation, and it goes through surges of volume through certain events that usually lead up to revolutions and whatever. But the point is that there's the old prophecy, that American Indian prophecy, the Hopi prophecy, I had to think about that and to remember that. We are the ones we've been waiting for. It's not a prophecy, but it's part of the Kachina prophecies. We are the ones we've been waiting for. That is true of every generation. While this tyranny continues, that is true of every generation. You're not the first person or people to be thinking what you're thinking now and experiencing what's going on now. It is a natural process of us, the older generations, turning to the younger generations and saying, look, these politicians are corrupt, they're fucking you up the ass, they're stealing everything from you, they're making your life a misery, and it's going to get worse if you don't deal with this shit. So, you know, I just want to demystify some of the stuff that goes on, certainly on the internet, with people trying to represent this of you are the special ones, you're the chosen ones that have been awoken to teach everybody else. You get all that fucking guru bullshit now. It's just that the tyranny has, again, because it does in cycles, become so oppressive that we have to now teach them a lesson again and remind them that they're supposed to be servants. And if it doesn't register with them, then the entire system has to be dismantled and we build something new.
Well, see the newspaper a couple of weeks ago, it was saying that the police up to started being nice to people for some reason. I don't know if you've seen it. Did you see it? Was it? I don't know what paper it was in, but...
Do you remember Custer's Last Stand? This is the main reason why they primarily rely on fear, because they do not physically have enough bailiffs or policemen or whatever to actually manhandle you. You know, they've got the weaponry and whatever to destroy us, but we're good, useful tax cattle productivity units, so they don't want to destroy us outright unless they absolutely have to. That's part of the transhumanist agenda as well, and them replacing us all with robots. But this is why they would rather utilize fear to control people, because then they don't have to actually send somebody round to beat you over the head and drag you off to a cage. They don't have to constantly, you know, be over you like a slave driver whipping you. They can just give you the impression of fear and you'll self-police each other.
Yeah. It goes back to what Richard Buckminster Fuller said, and he said, you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete.
Yep.
What I noticed in Glasgow is a lot of the younger police officers are starting to be, they're actually starting to be okay, and a lot of them are following how truther sites and stuff like that, I know, and I'm finding that, I kind of found that ironic with some of them, to be honest. So,
I agree with you as well, mate, in the sense of, I've noticed, because I've been into this kind of stuff for many years, but I've noticed the last couple of years definitely it is sort of becoming more accepted they're doing their usual thing of trying to commodify it and turn it into a brand that they can sell to people, and you get all the fashion trend kind of shit that goes along with it, like the stupid music video stuff that we always see about the Illuminati and whatever. But it's becoming more generally part of people's everyday lives and conversations, and certainly the last year I've seen a lot of cultural media kind of stuff where exactly the kind of phraseology that we use a lot, things like the terminology awake and do you know, and how do you have the eyes to see. When you look out at the general cultural media out there, the stories that are being sold to people, a lot of them contain that kind of topic. They're based on that kind of topic. So I think as well, this is, to me, ties into certainly my argument that for a number of years they were aware that there was going to be this upswell of energy, this grassroots upswell of people saying, whoa, what's going on here? No, we don't agree. No, we're not going to take part. We're going to protest. We're going to rebel, etc. So they had already in place agendas to diffuse and subvert and redirect whatever it is that we were doing, and to, in the long run, make it normalized and commodified, turned into something they can sell you. So we end up with shit.
That's
like,
why they want. That's why they want to shut down the internet.
Please don't take this the wrong way. This is why so many younger people are running around with Anon masks on. Every one of them you buy makes money for Times Warner. So they're quite happy for you all to go out and buy these masks. If you really want to make a statement like that, make your own mask. Yeah. Don't buy a plastic thing that's been given to you as an archetypal mimetic dress suit, a disguise, a mask. It is a mask. Make your own. If you want to have that anonymity thing, fair enough, but make your own, for fuck's sake. Don't buy it.
See, the thing is, see, if you start making your own, all the masks are going to be different, so they're going to be able to get you in a crowd. Do you know what I mean? They'll be able to.
Not if people follow.
It's like having a number on your back.
Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. But if people make them all pretty much of a general style,
make 10 of them, make 20 of them, sell them, give them away to your friends.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you shouldn't have a fucking mask.
I agree with you, mate. But some people, for whatever their reasons, some people want to have that separation.
I've not got one, to be honest, but my son has. You know what I mean? The kids, a lot of kids wear them. There's a lot.
It's just a statement. That's all it is. It's just a statement. But Cookie's right. You know, if you're buying this from, you know, a well-known place, somebody's, you know, the establishment's making money off it.
Corporations in it.
Yeah. If you actually look into it, you find that a lot of them, the real mass-produced ones that you can buy for like £1 or whatever, they're made in slave labour sweatshops in places like Pakistan.
Yeah.
And the money, the profit, goes to Times Warner. So how are you fighting the system when you're feeding such a fucking corporate beast? Yeah.
Well, don't feed.
the piggies there.
Brilliant.
I watched a video last year, man. They were making like leather jackets in Pakistan. Man, I couldn't believe it, man. It was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
The leather, they were painting the leather.
That's another aspect of it. You see, this is why I would say that a lot of this kind of stuff is deliberate, agendized, and marketed to a certain demographic. Because you can reference it in a kind of a social, anthropological kind of way. You can reference it to the black leather jacket. Yeah, it's a cultural icon. It's a entire subculture when you put it on. When you walk out your front door wearing the black leather jacket, you are making a statement in a public way that associates you to a subcultural genre. In the same way, they stole the idea of the V for Victory storyline from Alan Moore Because if you read some of the interviews with him, he himself basically wanted nothing to do with the film because he knew they'd corrupted
He's never
the
watched
story.
it. He's never watched the movie.
Yeah. He knew they would fuck with it and turn it into propaganda, which is what they did. Right? They took that and created a whole subculture trend and fashion for a new that were at the same time by other social media and their own education system being pushed into this idea of the hacker kind of youth. You know, those kids are sort of half Matrix, half out the Matrix, and they're the ghost in the machine and all that kind of stuff. And they gave them a brand to wear in the same way as the black leather jacket was given to the rebels during the 50s and 60s, yeah? This is why I try to encourage them to look, man, you don't need the mask. If you want to have some privacy, and that's why you're hiding your identity, so fair enough, but do it in a different way, please. Don't put that icon on your face because you're falling for their fucking system.
Yeah, get some plastic bags from Tesco or something and put some eyes in them and use that.
Join the bag people.
No, seriously, why, you know, if you want to, you know, everybody's probably got fucking, the shops at Tesco's got Tesco bags in their house. How could they prove who it is?
Exactly.
The other thing is as well, in that people think it hides their identity. This has been now in the public sphere for at least a couple of years, if not longer. There are other ways to identify you. There are algorithms that will read your gait, the way you walk, the shape and proportions of your body, stuff like that. They don't need to see your face.
No.
Yeah.
That's why when you go out and do anything, make sure you put some stones or marbles in your shoes so you don't walk as you normally do.
Do you remember I know I've referenced this quite a few times, but if you've seen
seriously.
Or read the books.
I know you're laughing, but, you know, it's going to make it uncomfortable to walk.
The Dune storyline, and in it the Fremen are taught to walk without rhythm, because if you have a rhythm to your walk, the sandworms can find you. Yeah. So walk without rhythm. In the same way, the best way to disrupt this system, the system relies on a status quo, that everything follows a certain clockwork structure of paradigms and hierarchies. So if you disrupt that, in whatever way you disrupt it, it confuses the fuck out of it, and it's the best way to subvert it and derail it, etc. This is why I like absurdism. You know, people doing just really weird stuff in the street to just confuse people, because it trips up their standard modus operandi programming that they've been subjected to. Yeah, but the walk without rhythm, confuse this system by doing something that you would not predictably do. I'm not saying do bad things, you know, just do something that they would not normally expect. And even more so now with this modern social media, they profile the fuck out of us in many different ways, partly from marketing so they can sell you more shit, but it's also so they can study the way people think. And by knowing the way people think and act and their patterns in life, they can more structure and socially engineer your society to get you into the mold they want. So do something different. Sorry, am I ranting a lot?
I think all of us in here do something different invariably most days or most weeks. We're all non-conformists. We're all aware to a fairly similar degree. I think we need to be preaching this whatever we want to say to others, not ourselves.
Yeah, that's why we're never going to never change anything by following the norm, which is what we've been doing for generations. It's not going to change. It's just going to be the same. When people talk about voting and stuff like that, that's not going to change anything. When people want a council, when people want to do things exactly as we're doing them now, going to court, you know, using their system and this, that, and the other, it's not going to change anything. It's exactly the same. And while ever we keep, you know, conforming to how the system is, people say system's broken, we just need to fix it. No, fucking system's not broken. It was designed this way.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
This is how they want it. This is how they want you. You know that how they've got you, and keep doing same things over and over again, like Einstein said, hoping to get different results is insanity. So it's you know it is time to do something different, and we don't. You know, I don't anyway. I don't want a leader. I don't want a master. I don't want anybody telling me what's good for me and what's good for my life, and you know all that shit. I just, you know, live your life, do what you love doing, and get on with it, and be around people that you love being around, that you enjoy their company, and do things with them, cooperation, and make sure it's done on a voluntary, mutual, cooperative basis, because as we know, this very system that we live within right now, everything is done by violence. It's with threats of violence. You know.
Have any
if you don't.
Have any watched a program called Continuum?
No. Are you living in Scotland, Stephen?
Sure am, mate.
I don't think this Scottish independence thing. To me it's bullshit. If anybody wants to be independent, right? What they should say to people is, here's what you need to do. You need to write a letter to whoever saying, I secede from it all. I've decided to declare myself independent from this all. I'm living my life. I'm not voting for this, and I'm going to be independent.
You know,
because it's just going to be meet the new boss, same as the old boss, under new management.
Well, that's what we're trying to avoid. We're going to try and avoid stuff like that, you know. We're getting the Green Party in as one of them, but I know what you're saying, mate. But I mean, if everybody could be independent, the full world would be independent. Do you know what I mean?
Well, right now it's a hot topic, isn't it? People are talking about it, and I can't understand why somebody's not jumped on fucking stage while these 2 or 3 or 4 or however many's talking about yes no vote, and grab fucking mic. Independent, seeing as we're talking about independent right now, let's just say no. Let's just say no to any of it, and let's just be independent. Let's put the power. Let's put the power back to the people in your own town, and that's how we all need to secede. If you, the people of Scotland, want to be independent, we don't need this fucker that says vote yes for independence, and we don't need this fucker that says vote no and stay with England. If we're going to be independent, we're going to be independent. I'm surprised that nobody's grabbed microphone and fucking said that on stage, you know, while it's being televised. And had somebody with a video camera so they could put it on YouTube, because it's just smoke and fucking mirrors. That's all it is.
There is a lot of fucking higme on it, but there's a lot of divide on it, I know, because of like the Catholic and Protestant thing and all that in Scotland too, you know.
The what controversy?
The Catholic and Protestant stuff now. Yeah. There's like a kind of split in Scotland there. But I mean, it's Alex Salmond's not going to be our next fucking president, our next prime minister, or whatever he fucking is, man. But people are wanting him out. People are only voting because we want Alex Salmond to be our next PM. People are voting because they want change in our government. No, it's not just like. It's because of the way Westminster is. We want fucking change for our country. You know what I mean? And we reckon we'll be able to do that.
You're under a government right now, right? And okay, granted, you're under a government that governs Northern Ireland, Wales, and Scotland, but you're still going to be under a government. So it's all going to be, you know, it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same shit.
We're trying to get a Green Party in now, or somebody a socialist. I don't know, man. Some country's fucking going to do things for the people anyway. But if not, it'll be worth fuck all. You know what I mean? It'll not be worth nothing. But it's just it's a stepping stone, innit?
Yeah. It might just be, like I say, it's just probably just going to be same shit, just a different day.
You'll get the same shit, but it's still a stepping stone, I think.
It's still a stepping stone.
It's a psychological leap forward. Yeah. I think it's like, yeah, your legislation ain't really going to change much. Your structure of government ain't going to change much. If anything, you'll just be ruled from Brussels rather than from London. So that side of it, yeah. And I don't think people are unaware of that. They know it's smoke and mirrors. They know it's bullshit. It's a psychological stand of defiance, saying we want to be independent. Okay, that's one step forward. Now let's keep pushing.
But there's a lot of people in Scotland that don't want to join the EU. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. But who comes in and uses the best offers after this vote? We'll see who comes up. Because
I don't know how the fuck you guys ended up being ruled anyway. All them years you fought off Romans. You know, they ended up having to build that fucking wall to keep you cunts out, so you won't keep coming down and burning York to the ground. You know, and all shit that you were doing, you know, raping and pillaging, because, you know, you kept on being attacked, and then, you know, British fought you, and you fucked them off a few times, and then I don't know what happened.
I know. It's
Rob Roy and fucking William Wallace, come back, you know.
I know, man. Fucking.
The privileged people fucking sold us out.
The who?
The privileged people sold us out.
Yep.
That's what always happens, isn't it? But I don't know. It's a stepping stone anyway. I reckon if we get it and we do get the right people in, I reckon it'll only just benefit Scotland. I reckon it could benefit fucking the full UK, maybe even the fucking world. Do you know what I mean?
That's what you need. You need a new William Wallace to step up to the microphone and say, you know what? Fuck these people here, and get it on video, and, you know, whatever. Fuck these people here. We don't need this. If Scotland's going to be independent, if you truly want to be independent, fuck this shit. Let's just do it.
Yeah, and a yes vote.
Turn around and say, vote for me, and I'll truly set you free. And if I don't set you free, because if you give me the vote and I disband and all this shit, and you get to rule yourself, you can fucking hang me. You can do the same as what the Brits did to, you know, William Wallace.
That'll harm me anyway. That'll harm me anyway, man. If shit hits the fan, man, you'll see fucking riots in the other place.
That psychological empowerment, think of it in the sense of, look at all the European countries that started basically doing the same process after the breakup of Yugoslavia. Once it started, once one did it, then the next one wanted to do it, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Yeah. Over recent years, we've had places like Catalonia turning around and saying, we now want to be our own separate sovereign entity again. We don't want to be part of the Spanish bullshit. If they can do it here with Scotland out of the UK, you think of how that would empower people to keep pushing to get that true sovereignty back.
All right, but what's going to happen to Balmoral?
Fuck Balmoral.
Take it down.
Queen's going to be coming there. No, why do that? Turn it into some houses for people.
Well, she won't be coming anywhere. She's not got a passport.
There's a lot of land that's owned with foreigners and stuff like that, and they can actually get money. I can't remember what you call it, but they get money now for the tax fund kind of thing, and it keeps the fucking business going and all that, I know. And it's fucking costing now Scotland fucking millions, man.
I reckon they should take it off her, open it as a nightclub and a hotel, free, and have it as a campsite on the grounds.
At the same time, you should forgive all debt, cancel usury, set up your own bank, and make cannabis decriminalised completely and allow people to grow it and use it as they wish.
I'll vote for that.
You do that, and you would be accelerating away from all this fucking bullshit like a rocket, mate.
I know.
Paper and everything there, aren't we? Offcast.
I mean, I inspired there by stuff Ken Bob was posting in the chat saying about cancelling debt and stuff, and it's true. If you similar to what they did in Iceland, although I think I've said before, Iceland didn't exactly take it all the way, as it were. They got a lot done, yes, but they didn't really push all the way.
Right.
But you could do something similar. Get rid of the international banks, fuck off all those people that are using you as a tax haven, forgive debt to your own population, set up your own national bank, issuing interest-free currency to your public, similar to the Bradbury pound kind of. You could do all that, and you would fucking accelerate away as an independent, especially with the oil reserves you've got and everything.
I reckon so too. I mean, I don't want them to keep the Sterling. I want them to fucking get shorty and start their own currency, you know. As I was saying to you earlier, maybe go with the times and fucking be a cryptocurrency or something.
Oh, another thing you need to do straight away is you need to start a arms manufacturing company. People making guns. You know, even if it's just like small, if it's just small companies just all over fucking Scotland making them, and make sure that at least one household has at least one fucking gun.
We've got an arms fucking industry. They're called gangsters.
No, you got to arm. If you ever do become independent, you've got to arm your public.
I don't know what you're worried about, mate. They've got the Trident base. If they really wanted some protection against England, they'd say, come across our border and we'll just fucking wipe out London.
With Sims.
Who and where is the? It's going to be in Scotland. I think it's going to be down south in London. For the Trident base.
Yeah, you never got any of that then.
You were Dalek in there.
I went Dalek.
Yeah.
As GCHQ, because I'm telling truth, cancelling my voice out. I said the key codes and the actual control systems for that is not going to be in Scotland. It's going to be down south in probably London or somewhere like that.
Yeah, the golf ball will be, but they could quite easily take a submarine, being a submarine, and being the type they are, they're quite good at evading detection, sail it into the Thames, and then scuttle it, and they're all, well, not all of them, but the main fleet carrying the Trident are nuclear-based. There you go, dirty bomb right in the middle of London.
Yeah. And well, hatches shut on missile chambers.
A dirty bomb.
Are you leaving, Stephen? Good night, mate. Who's leaving?
I'm here. I'm staying. I was saying,
Fady.
Oh, right, yeah. I just realised.
I won't be long. I'll only be about another 15 minutes myself. After, what was it this morning, James? About 4:40, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Did it stay open when I dropped off?
Yeah.
Yeah, we stayed for like, I don't know, maybe a couple of hours after you went, Dean.
Sleep me, I was tossing.
Yeah.
They were overtired by that time.
Did you know that Nostradamus predicted independence?
No, I know about that one.
Well, he predicted a lot of stuff, but some of it's not come fucking true. I mean, end of world and all that shit, and all these prophecies from different people saying end of world. There was a guy on the streets saying it's end of world. He says, okay, well, give me everything that you fucking own. You just stand here and
yeah.
If it's end of world tomorrow.
Fucking, I read a blog years ago, man. I've told you about it at all. And it was not. It was a thing through. It was a Illuminati thing. I was reading the cards and all that, and fucking. And it says, and that's how it stuck in my head. Was the Nostradamus predicted Scottish independence, and on it says no long after independence, World War III would have started. So I'm just waiting for it. So lobby for fuck all.
How long is it now? Is it only a few?
The Illuminati Caribbean.
I know. It was fucking a thing through that years ago.
Right.
The Illuminati.
It's always the end of the world tomorrow, and you're lucky that tomorrow never comes.
But see, the thing is, see when that blog, man, it fucking mentions Ukraine and everything on it, man. And I was like, I still remember this fucking day to you, man. It's fucking mental and I can't find it. Can't find it, man.
Well, I can't be asked searching for my book of Nostradamus stuff just to see if it mentions Scottish independence. Sorry.
Oh, it's on Google, mate. You can fucking type it in now, man. You'll get it right now. It comes up fucking right at the start.
Most of his stuff is like most classic prophecy stuff. It's so ambiguous it can apply to almost fucking anything.
It's so cryptic.
It's fucking horse shit.
You could put your own words to it.
Alright. Probably the Queen though, anyway. Fucking whole Terry Goatlegs.
Been more arrests, Ferguson.
You know, when we claim our independence, we're going to send her up to live in Balmoral, didn't you?
Oh, you fuck.
She's going to become like a radioactive bomb, just keep sending her backwards and forwards.
I would just send it to Bass Rock on there with a tent. A bit of a barren piece of land, that, isn't it?
This has been going on for some years, apparently, this Nostradamus bullshit about Scottish independence. 2005, it's supposed to happen in 2005 or something. I don't know.
Well, even a broken.
I'm gonna make a prediction. This hangout end tonight sometime.
What? I'll hang out. What?
This hangout is going to end sometime tonight.
Yes, it will.
It might be tonight where you are. It's this morning where we are.
Well, this morning it's gonna end on September 11th.
Oh no.
Yep, this hangout's gonna end on September 11th.
It's my birthday.
Is it? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, James.
How young are you?
I'm 52 years young.
52.
52.
Oh, we've got to have a sing song from.
No, don't do
that.
Don't do that. That's not right.
You'll get an asthma.
Colin's here.
You alright, Colin?
On my next birthday, I'll be 21 times
Again.
3.
Again.
Times 3.
That's the way I should have put it in. It sounds better.
21 for the 25th time.
Oh. Well,
21 times 3 for me next time. How's things in Yarmouth, Colin?
Well, to be honest with you, I've had a fucking shit couple of days. Did any of you see that video I stuck up about the old bill, PCSOs that come round my house?
Yes, yeah.
My baby fell out the window yesterday.
Oh no!
No way.
15 foot up. Well, it's been all over the news and everything.
Yeah.
Lucky enough, he's fine. He's just got a little, they call it green something or other. Basically, the bone bent in his arm and all his face is like bruised and all the rest of it. But talk about people sort of, how do I put it, wishing things on you, you know, and then it happens.
Yeah.
I walked out my garden and I thought my boy was dead. You know what I mean? We had the air ambulance parked right outside my house. Everything. There was about 20 ambulance men and that in my house. It's craziest night I've ever had in my life.
So how did that happen then?
Well, what basically happened is my 17-year-old, she's got a lock on her door, and basically we keep all the windows locked upstairs, and she was up doing her homework for college. Well, her friend rang her and said, meet me outside. So she's run down the stairs, not thinking. Me little one's gone upstairs to go to the toilet, because our toilet's upstairs. Me little one's gone upstairs to go to the toilet, seen her door open, gone in there, seen the window open, got on the windowsill and fell out.
Fuck.
You know?
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine. He's, like I say, he's got a plaster on his arm, and he's got some bruising and that down his face. But he was out cold, and I've just got to say, if it weren't for my neighbour, who actually see him fall out the window, and basically jumped over my fence and took care of him, because I was just a bumbling mess. You know what I mean? And this guy's a fully trained first aider and all the rest of it, and he just took control of it, you know, until the ambulance and that. I was just a mess. I couldn't believe it was happening after that film that I did, and taking the piss out of them CPOs or whatever they're bloody called, iPods. You know, after that all going on and then that happening, you know, it just blew me away. Absolutely blew me away.
Scary stuff.
Very scary. You know, and they say if you wish something on someone, you know, it will happen if you wish hard enough. And that just makes me think that that person who made that fraudulent call, you know, must have wished harm on my family, you know what I mean? And I don't normally believe in stuff like that, but it makes you think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I seen your comments saying that. That's fucking horrible.
I'm glad he's alright. Well, yeah, apart from bruising and whatever.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. He was running around the front room sort of a couple of hours ago as if nothing's happened. You know what I mean?
Kids bounce most of the time.
They bounce, they're quite bendy.
Yeah.
How old is he?
Kids quite bendy. Yeah, they are.
Right.
Yeah, he's 3.
If that was an adult, they'd probably crash their head and that'd bury him away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I said, when they come in, they had all the the air ambulance landed right out. It's on it was on the news and everything, so I've been told. But
where's that?
It's all in the local papers. I've got the local paper coming round tomorrow. Want to get an interview and all that sort of stuff, you know. Because they're sort of being told half a story, so they've printed half a story and they want the other half, don't they? I don't know whether I want to get involved with that, but
I wouldn't.
Just don't mention the Illuminati.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's crazy. That's crazy.
How old is your son?
Sorry.
How old is he?
3.
3.
3. Yeah. So Mike, we've got gates on everything, you know, all on the stairs and everything else. We've got gates and all that. We do everything you can do to protect your children, you know.
Exactly.
And it was just that split second. I want to go to the toilet, Dad. I've opened the gate because me 1.5 one, because I've got a little girl as well, and she was running around downstairs, and that's just that bit of forgetfulness, you know, that. You know, because you're not thinking, are you? And you don't think that your baby's going to go upstairs, go to the toilet, but bypass the toilet and go straight in and fall straight out of a window, do you? You know? Talk about beat yourself up. I've sort of kicked myself around for the last 24 hours, you know? The worst feeling in the world.
I know.
Worst feeling in the world.
I think Pink Floyd called it a momentary lapse of reason.
Yeah.
And we all have those, don't we, you know? Anyway, let's hope he gets on the mend and learns his lesson and don't try to play Batman off the window. You know?
I said to him, "You're going to go near the windows anymore?" "No, Danny, I don't want to go there." Unbelievable. But I've got to say, like, because the back door was locked, I was piddling like mad to try and get out the back door. I was shaking like a leaf. And when I see him laying on the ground, to be honest, I thought it was all over. I thought he was gone. 15 foot he dropped.
I couldn't imagine what you were going through. That'd be horrible. I'm saying I couldn't imagine what you were going through. That'd be horrible.
Absolutely slaughtered me, honestly. Especially after that video I put up. You know? And then that happens. I'll just get the earphones, I can hardly hear you.
It would be really nice. It would be really nice if you could find out who dropped the allegation on you anyway.
I said that. I've made a comment on my Google page, whatever it is, and I just said, for the person who wished harm to my family, got your wish. But my wish now is I find out who you are. You know? And then we'll see.
Horrible.
I mean, it was obviously, 100% irrefutable, a bloody false allegation.
Yeah.
So.
But when you think about it in the cold light of day, from that happening 2 days before, and then the actual thing what they were saying actually happens, it's just, it rocks you to your toes. Absolutely rocks you to your toes.
It's like cast a spell on you, isn't it?
That's what I don't believe in all that stuff. I don't. But when I sat and thought about it, I thought, Jesus, it's, what can you say? You got to think something's in it somewhere, haven't you? You're a fool not to. But
it's I'm just looking at it right now. It's on Great Yarmouth Mercury 24.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
It's on that. I'll put a link in the chat here. There's a couple of ones where it's posted on.
It says multiple injuries.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. They got after because they got told that by the air ambulance blokes. Because they wrapped him up in all sorts of stuff to stop him moving and all that sort of stuff. And I suppose they've gone straight out and said, like, this has happened, you know what I mean?
Right.
But they phoned up and said, like, look, can we come round and, but like I said, I don't know if I'm too interested in what they've got to say, to be honest with you.
I can't get the link for some reason. I don't know what's going on.
Could hardly hear you, mate. Would you say that again?
For some reason, I can't get the links up tonight. They're just taking the piss out of me.
Yeah.
I'm just getting a tiny little screen and it won't go into a full-size screen. So I guess I'm unsure of them.
Unbelievable.
I think it's shock. My computer's shocked of having so many little.
Yeah.
It's shocked having a full house.
So one thing I'm sick about, I fucking started smoking again. I hadn't smoked for 2 months.
No wonder.
No, that's the stress.
Yeah. If you were a nun, you'd be swearing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a shocker, an absolute shocker of everything that has gone on, and then the thing to actually materialise, sickening.
That'd been my worst nightmare. One of my range phone, I used to stay up like a tournament, and waiting for it a window.
I hammed in my closer, the lassie down the staircase has been fucking tail out the window. Same age, you know, 3-year-old by the way. But she's alright, the lassie, fucking...
I seen it happening.
Got a ledge and she, the house like another wee kind of roof. She landed on that and then rolled onto the grass. Which kind of broke her fall a wee bit, but fucking hell man, scary shit.
Well, basically, that's what they said that sort of saved him, is he landed on the grass, because directly underneath the window is concrete, like the path. But he's missed that and landed on the grass, the dirt bit. So that's what basically, I suppose, broke his fall.
Yeah.
Must have got a hell of a frighter.
Right. But the guy also said to me, he said, what you've got to understand is if it had been me falling out the window, I would have tensed up.
Yeah. That's
But the little ones don't, because they can't comprehend what's happening to them. So they just basically go limp.
Yeah. That's what I meant. That's what I meant with Bendy.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just fall. They don't realise what's going to happen. Whereas me and you would just go.
Yeah, exactly.
Something I used to train people when I was doing training stuff. If you look at children, and don't mean this in a funny way, but you look at chimpanzees and primates and whatever, when they fall over, they do that kind of thing. They relax, they go limp, and they usually end up landing on their ass, so they don't hurt themselves. Whereas weird adults, because of various layers of programming, like we don't want to look like a fool, and we're worried that we're going to injure ourselves, so we try and stop the fall and stuff like that. We tense up, and because we tense up, that's usually why we break things. Whereas if you just relax and go limp, you'll find this in the, as well, interesting side now, the SAS handbook. If ever you get a copy of that and read it, it's good volume, it's worth having. But in there he has a section on surviving crashes and accidents, like car crashes and stuff like that. And the best advice from them is exactly that. Relax, go limp, because you'll suffer less injuries.
Yeah.
I've got the SEX handbook.
It's the same thing, you know.
The sickening thing in the hospital as well, in the hospital they're going to us, oh, you can't leave. I said, well, what do you mean we can't leave? They said, the social services are coming to see you. Yeah, and I said, well, I don't consent to the social services. I don't have nothing to do with the social services, so you can tell the social services go fuck themselves. Alright? And then like 5 minutes later, the woman came back and said, oh, don't worry about the social services, they're not coming now. Just sign
it. Why? Because they pass your message on to him.
Yeah, most probably.
Woman calls him up, hey, Colin Johnson says, go fuck yourself, he don't want to see you.
Yeah,
alright, we're not coming then.
That's it. We'll give him a miss.
Going round there, I've seen him on YouTube.
He knows the rules. He ain't a silly boy.
You know, that fucker will have me on YouTube. Fuck that shit.
Yeah. He'll film and shame him. But there was a lady there in the same bit of the wall, and her son had basically done something to his ankle, and she said, like when they said about them, the social services coming to see us, she went, They'd been in hospital for 3 days or something, this kid, and they said the social services have been hounding her for the first 3 days that she was in the hospital, absolutely tearing her to bits. And this was all over the baby. Well, he wasn't a baby; he was about 5 years old. This kid had hurt his ankle, and she didn't know how he had hurt his ankle. Crazy. And they're all like,
they're looking for an excuse to take the kid off her. That's what they're doing. They're looking for an excuse.
Yeah. Where I wouldn't entertain it. I wasn't consenting to nothing.
Yeah, and that's the problem. With most people, what they do is start flapping their mouth and start answering the questions.
Exactly.
You know, which then gives them the chance to write a report. and then lo and behold, they're there with a couple of, human beings in costumes behind them.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of people knew wouldn't take their kids to the hospital because it is crap.
Yeah.
Well, the social services are seeing pound signs, aren't they? Because if they can snatch another kid into care, it's 70-odd grand a year they're getting into there.
Well, this is what you're talking about, isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's millions and millions of pounds.
It's money, yeah.
Isn't that a what? A breach of medical data that by them phoning them?
No, what they say is that they are duty bound by legislation to inform them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but it's just a corporation.
Exactly. That's where I said I do not consent.
Yeah.
I do not consent.
They're all corporations.
And it seems like that word, I do not consent, goes a long way.
Yeah.
And I was short of shouting here at the top of my voice, so everyone in the ward heard me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Good on you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It makes sense that they were bringing that law out about if they think you don't love you, give your kid enough love, they can take your kid away.
Yeah.
I mean, well, does that not apply to all rich that send the kids to boarding school and all that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Private schools and all that.
Has any of you read that? There was an article. There's been articles on it, and I can't remember where. I'm sure we were discussing it, or it was discussed about the effect on these kids in the rich families when they get sent off, because they get sent off to prep school as a youngster. They never really get to know the parents because there's a nanny in the way, and the parents just carry on their life as though they've not had any sprogs. They're just like, well, that belongs in that room there. We'll just carry on and make all the arrangements. And you know,
test tube.
Say again, Dean.
Adam in a test tube. You know, it's putting them out of the way having a kid, isn't it? It's probably a test tube job.
Yeah. And then when you think the child is growing up, naturally thinking that, that he's thinking that fucking love is a postal service.
Yeah.
Because all it's getting is letters from its parents once every week or once a month or something like that. It's probably getting more letters off its nanny than it's getting off its parents.
That's where the no empathy comes from.
Yeah. Abandonment, and it's that feeling of abandonment. I couldn't think of growing up not knowing my mum and dad properly. It's beyond comprehension, isn't it?
Yeah. But we trust these people who are fucking mental fuck-ups from an early age to run the country as though
that's what I was just going to say. That's what
we do.
That's why they find it so easy to fuck us over, because they don't feel no sense, do they? They don't feel no family sense and stuff like that. That's why it's easy for them to do it.
Yeah.
You put words that's out of my mouth there then.
But it's true, how many generations of them have been shipped off to these fucking prep schools and like Eton College and all this bullshit. And I know they're getting probably a different education to what we're getting, but at the same time they're getting desensitized to parental love. They've not got this family connection that we've got.
Then they are interpreted.
I think
the only connection they've got is on the fucking staircase where Rembrandt's left, fucking oil paintings of their ancestors going back hundreds of years, but they probably know them better than they know their own fucking parents.
I agree 100%.
It ends up being nothing about humanity and all about the power of their name and their bloodline and all that shit.
Yeah.
It's why they've become so obsessed with gaining more and more power. They can never get enough.
And I should pillage the peasants. I nearly said pheasants then.
Right. I think, didn't we agree last night, James, that we're still living, no matter how you paint it, we're still living in a feudal society. We're the serfs and they're the fucking, you know.
Yeah, we're all chattel on tax farms. That's all we are.
Indentured serfs, which means we, in their system, we owe them perpetually. We owe them, so everything we do, our productivity, gets taxed to the nth degree because we owe them.
And what do? They just sit on the fucking arses all day long.
Bean counters.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to say goodnight, guys, because I'm starting to yawn now and don't want to yawn at you. So,
I think
for the chat. Thanks for hosting.
All right, Cookie. Good talking to you again, Cookie. Good night.
I'm going to take this opportunity to chip as well, guys. So it's been a good one. Keep up the good work. See you on the next one.
Good night, man.
Yeah.
Disconnect for the rest of the 24 hours for the 11th. So take care, folks. Good night. See you in a bit.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Colin, are you going to claim your titles back for your children, or are you not bothering?
To be honest, I haven't thought about it too much.
Yeah.
I think everybody do till you're up to a 7-year-old or something.
Yeah, 7-year-old.
Yeah, up to 7-year-old. I've heard a bit about it, and you know, this experience, what I've just gone through, it makes you wonder, and it makes you think hard. And like I said, I'm going to sit down in the next couple of days, sort of gather myself in, and I'll start looking right into it. To be honest, I think that'd be the best chance for these.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a minefield, isn't it?
Total sovereignty, isn't it, man?
Yeah.
Like you're taking completely off the boots, registers and everything, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
You're a person, then you're not. You're not a person, then you're a human being, aren't you? It's that was brought in at 17. What were it? Can't remember. Great Fire.
1666.
60. No, we're at 1666 at Great Fire.
Yeah.
I always get them mixed up and date me.
We're all dead.
Yeah.
We're all deed.
We're all dead. That's the way I should say it. We're all dead.
We're all dead and living out at sea.
Yep. You're lost at sea.
Sea lost at sea, yeah.
Yeah, ruled by the sea.
Yep. Admiralty law.
It's what I'll do is I'll drop this live broadcast now. We can just have a chat behind the scene for a bit if you want. Get in touch.
Sure.
So I'll put everyone that's joined the chat room. We'll probably do one on Friday night because they won't be out happening tomorrow. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Good night.
Well, don't you know?